You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Thursday, February 25th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, I'm rounding up the news from yesterday's ViacomCBS investor call, including a first look at Star Trek Prodigy, news on upcoming releases for 2021, and that all-important Paramount Plus pricing. Plus, I've got the weekend's virtual Star Trek events. It's a big show, kids, so stay tuned. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. First up, we've finally had our first look at artwork for the upcoming animated series Star Trek Prodigy. The single image, a rendered picture of the bridge crew, was revealed during ViacomCBS's investors presentation on Wednesday. After the announcement, the Hageman brothers, creators of Star Trek Prodigy, tweeted out the picture with the caption, "Big news, Star Trek fans! A first peek at our Prodigy bridge crew. Thank you to creative lead Ben Hibben and all the artists at Nick Animation for bringing this motley crew to life." The image shows a lineup of 6 characters, notably none of whom are human. From left to right, a round-bodied mecha droid character with long legs, who looks put together haphazardly, a portly engineer type with a snaggle tooth and plenty of tool belts, a tall, slender, pale-skinned person who looks far too calm and collected for being in a Star Trek series. Next to them, a shorter, purple-skinned person with a jaunty mohawk and mischievous grin, a very sparkly, very happy, bluish-greenish purple blob, and finally a very large, pink rock dude wearing overalls. Go on, speculate, you know you want to. Plus, there's a complete lack of details other than the picture, so you're gonna have to. Now, another part of the Star Trek Prodigy announcement is the news that the series will be a Paramount Plus show, not exclusively Nickelodeon broadcast as some had feared. The 10-episode series will premiere on Paramount Plus weekly, like the other recent Star Trek series, and once it's finished its run, it will then also move back to Nickelodeon. Now, next up, if you were worried about there not being enough Star Trek to keep you going this year, then here's some good news. A piece in Variety all about the Star Trek universe coming out of ViacomCBS's investor presentation on Wednesday reports that Star Trek Prodigy, as well as a new series of Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Lower Decks, are all on the schedule for this year. Quoting Variety, "Originally conceived for Nickelodeon, Prodigy from Kevin and Dan Hageman will now premiere on Paramount Plus later in 2021. After its 10-episode run has concluded there, the show about a coterie of aliens who commandeer a seemingly abandoned Starfleet vessel will air again on the linear Nickelodeon channel. The move is part of a wider official strategy of placing every current and former Trek TV series on Paramount Plus, including new seasons of Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Lower Decks, which are also set to premiere in 2021. In their piece, Variety also mentions that Star Trek Picard Season 2 and Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1 are in production, but they fail to mention a timeline. Now, with all the new content to come out, keeping in mind that we've only just recently come off the back of a straight 23 weeks of new content, aren't we likely to get franchise fatigue? Executive producer Alex Kurtzman doesn't think so. "We're aiming to have our shows feel unique and different from each other," he told Variety. "We want to give everybody a reason to watch each show." Speaking about whether the shows would potentially tell parts of a whole story, he said, "Interconnectedness is a lot of fun, but our goal is not to make it so insular that if you haven't seen the show, you're lost when you watch another show." Long story short, I hope you like watching Star Trek, because you're going to be getting a lot of it sooner than you think. Now, finally, if you're already a CBS All Access subscriber, you can breathe a sigh of relief today. When Paramount Plus launches next Thursday, March 4th, they won't be raising the prices along with the new service. Another piece from Variety laid out the new pricing structure, which was somewhat in doubt after the departure last year of Mark Debevoise, previously the only ViacomCBS executive on record saying that the price wouldn't go up. But in the ViacomCBS investor call Wednesday, they confirmed that not only would the price not go up, it might also be going down depending on your package. Current CBS All Access subscribers have the choice between a $5.99 ad-supported service or a $9.99 ad-free service. The $9.99 service will remain at $9.99 for Paramount Plus, and come the summer they'll be replacing the $5.99 ad-supported tier with a new lower-priced ad-supported tier for $4.99. Now there is a catch, as you might expect. The ad-supported tier will exclude local CBS stations, something the current ad-supported tier has. ViacomCBS still thinks it's a great deal, though. Variety reports that Tom Ryan, the new CEO of ViacomCBS's streaming division, points out that Paramount Plus on the whole will have more content than CBS All Access. And on the business side, taking local CBS stations out of the picture gives ViacomCBS more flexibility in its distribution deals. Current CBS All Access subscribers won't have to do anything when Paramount Plus debuts on March 4th. The existing apps will be updated with the new branding, and the current pricing tiers will continue. If you happen to be on the $5.99 tier at the moment, you have a few months before anything changes. The new lower-priced ad-supported tier is expected in June. And of course, if you're not yet a CBS All Access subscriber, you still have a chance to get a great deal on an annual plan. Through March 3rd, when you subscribe to CBS All Access on a yearly plan, you'll get a whopping 50% off your first year, and your subscription will automatically switch to Paramount Plus when it launches. You can find out more about that deal at dailystartreknews.com/CBS All Access. Now, I've got the weekend's online events here in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Do you need someone to talk to? BetterHelp can do that. Now, BetterHelp is not a crisis line, but they can get you set up with a licensed professional counselor in under 48 hours. Here's how it works. When I signed up with BetterHelp, I took a short survey so they could match me with someone, and they matched me in just a couple hours. Then it was just a day or two after that we got to work. You can start living a happier life today. And as a Daily Star Trek News listener, you can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. And that's help, HELP. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. That's HELP, betterhelp.com/DSTN. And a big thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Now let's have a look at the weekend's events. All right, so we're all setting our alarms for next Thursday, March 4th, when CBS All Access evolves into its legendary form of Paramount Plus. But until then, keep your Trek chops oiled with some virtual Star Trek events. First up, it's a virtual convention showcasing Black excellence in Star Trek. Black Excellence, a Star Trek Legacy, runs Friday, February 26th through Sunday, February 28th over Zoom. The event is hosted by the USS Gerard Holder with support from Starbase Centaur 4210. They say, "For Black History Month, we will pay homage to Star Trek's legacy of showcasing Black excellence in its story arcs and imagery. We'll gather with Black Trek fans who are artists, actors, scientists, and Star Trek cosplayers who do charity for a fun, interactive weekend of panels and screenings." Now, this is a truly packed weekend of events with thought-provoking topics like Black naval and marine history, Starfleet meditations, and spoken word poetry. You can read the full list of events and find out how to join in on the Facebook page for the New York City Star Trek Meetup Group at facebook.com/NYC Star Trek Meetup Group. Then on Saturday, February 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, Larry Nemeczek is hosting a Star Trek Voyager watch-along with a couple of special guests. David Zapponi, the executive producer for the upcoming Star Trek Voyager documentary, with Lolita Faggio, pre-production coordinator on Voyager and also a producer on the documentary. You'll watch the Voyager Season 4 episode Living Witness together with a live chat afterwards. Now you'll have to figure out for yourself how to watch the episode either on streaming or on disc, but the chat afterward will be broadcast live for free on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. For more information, visit Larry's page on Facebook at facebook.com/Larry's Trekland. Also on Saturday, February 27th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, GalaxyCon Live is hosting another one of their virtual events, this time with the cast of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Terry Farrell, Nana Visitor, Armin Shimmerman, Andrew Robinson, Alexander Siddig, and Nicole DeBoer are all expected to be there for the Q&A and optional extras. As per usual, registration is free but required, and you can purchase one-on-one chats and autographs as well if you so desire. For more information, head to galaxycon.com. Still on Saturday, February 27th, but later at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our sister podcast, Women at Warp, is hosting Star Trek Into Blackness, a live interactive panel celebrating and exploring the cosmic African diaspora. The event will be broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's free. For more information, head to Women at Warp on Facebook at facebook.com/Women at Warp. And of course, don't forget to join me tomorrow afternoon, Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, for the live show Daily Star Trek Views on YouTube. This week, I'm talking about Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 5, Cupid's Errant Arrow. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Head to youtube.com/Daily Star Trek News. Now, if you have an online event or a gathering that you'd like for me to promote on the show, then please let me know. How are you getting together with your fellow Trekkies without leaving the house? Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek News from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, with selected stories by Chris Peterson and events by Marina Kravchuk. Today's show was sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know and the answer to this week's trivia. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.